afterwards to find out what they thought of these circles too. What you have to get over is the understanding that, first, humans are making the circles. Secondly, you have to understand that circles are having an effect and that people are experiencing strange things. And then the concept of whether or not this is hoaxing or whether people are trying to be fooled, I think goes out of the window. Once you realise that crop circles are real, no matter whether I make them or a UFO makes them or maybe an alien makes them, they all attract paranormal phenomena. And it doesn't matter who's making the crop circle. It's a very large magical symbol, like a talisman. It has a power and an energy which goes beyond just the simple form and shape. I don't like the word hoaxing. Hoaxing implies an intent to fool, to sort of ridicule, and that's not what crop circles are about. I don't go out on a daily basis, to make crop circles that are going to fool people. I go out to make crop circles that are going to give people experiences and make them happier in their lives, make them understand themselves, make them look inwards. Well, it's about a spiritual endeavour. This is why people keep coming back, because there's something good, something beneficial, which brings the Circlemakers back time after time, because they're having their own experiences and they're helping other people have experiences. I think if this was a joke, you would have seen the Circlemakers give up years ago. There must be something which obviously draws people back to keep on making these circles. And this is, I think, the fundamental question is, why do people make circles? I'm not totally angry because people make money from crop circles. Obviously there is a need for information to be passed out into the community about what crop circles are, about their location, photographs, videos, these sorts of things, people's personal experiences, people's research into the paranormal. All of these things need to be explored. You can't do that without money from somewhere. So the making of money from crop circles isn't so much of a problem. What I do have a problem with are the researchers that I believe are not doing their utmost to find out what's going on, or maybe have their own personal bias in saying that these things can't be created by humans when they haven't even spoken to the humans that are creating them, which I think is a bit of a failing on some researchers' part. What I don't like is the cloak and dagger that seems to go on in the crop circle community, whereby we're portrayed as the bad guys that cannot be approached, and then statements are made about how we can't be making these crop circles. That to me, making money from that type of argument is rather sad, I think. This isn't really about me. This is about everyone who's involved in crop circles, right from the researchers to the public who hear about crop circles through newspapers or television programs, or because they travel along the roads where the crop circles appear and they decide to go in and have a look. It's about everyone who's involved all over the world who has an interest. What I'm trying to do is just be as honest as I can about my position in crop circles, and my arrest, which was unfortunate, did have the effect of thrusting me into the media limelight as being a circle maker. But I can only stress that it was not my own intent to be arrested for making crop circles. That was the doing of crop circle researchers, unfortunately, who didn't like the fact that I was out trying to show them that humans can make circles. I and the rest of my team have gone out, made a circle in a field, and found out that another team was making another circle in the same field on the same night. And there was a specific design element in our crop circle which actually had something to do with the other crop circle. It was actually something in ours was pointing towards something in the other circle. And I think this was a very good coincidence that two sets of teams would be out on the same night in the same location and would be doing similar designs which have a connection between each other. And is this just coincidence? Or are the Circlemakers getting the urge to go to a particular field on a particular night and do a particular design? And this is the type of thing I find fascinating, when you're making circles, is you have these coincidences, much of which you cannot speak about openly because you reveal the details of the circle to people who sort of might not be ready to take that sort of information. It has to be held secretly so that people can benefit most from the circle. Another coincidence that took place, I did a circle design and we went out and made this circle, and on within a similar time frame, within a couple of days, somebody else in a different part of the country, actually North Yorkshire in fact, created a circle, and this circle was very similar to my design. Now I say that the chances of the designs being so similar are astronomical. So what we've got here is a circumstance where maybe two sets of circle makers were picking up on the same design. Now, where do we get the inspiration from? This is the big question. Am I simply drawing these things out of my own head, simply using my own sort of artistic ability, or am I getting some of the idea of a particular circle from somewhere else? Am I being given this idea, pushed in a particular direction? And when you see somebody in a different part of the country do a similar design like that, it makes you wonder. And obviously, I'm not in touch with the Circlemaking team that did that. It was a surprise to me. So, what is the connection? I mean, if the parallel I try to draw in this particular instance is that if I'd been able to predict with such accuracy the design that somebody had done, or to replicate the same design somewhere else, then the chances are I could win the lottery by the same technique. And it's those sorts of odds that make you think that we're not dealing with coincidence, that there is something much bigger going on. It is quite hard to sum up the many years of experiences I've had making crop circles, but I must say that coincidences and synchronicities are definitely part of the paranormal world behind crop circles. Now, you may get somebody who will predict your circle, maybe a clairvoyant or somebody of that nature will say that they've had an idea that a circle is going to appear. You may get somebody come to the area and they've got a particular design which they've kept secret, to themselves, and they've been asking for this design, and then that design will appear. These are all the sorts of coincidences that I think, on a personal level, people see great significance in, and crop circles have a lot of elements which jar memories in people and jar ideas. They act as keys. So people will look at a crop circle, and what should by rights just be a simple design starts to become something which unlocks meaning for the person who is entering the circle. I've seen black figures in the crop circles, shadowy sort of figures that at night you mistake for other team members, because in the distance, you can see some sort of black figure moving around and you assume it's a team member. And I have actually walked up and seen these figures just disappear in front of me. And friends of mine have had this also. Not entirely disconcerting either. Some people say that the idea behind seeing a black figure should be frightening. Well, it wasn't to me. It was actually quite exhilarating. I believe in ghosts, and I think that maybe whatever I saw might have been some sort of spirit form, and as I didn't feel any negative presence from the black figure, then I'm not going to make the judgment